You guys asked, and you guys shall receive. Now listen, okay? We're here talking more about the Epstein files, things that's been releasing through these days. And I woke up today, looking for some more videos. I have a spreadsheet of videos that we're going to do reactions to. And I found that CoffeeZilla just released a new video talking about the Epstein files. Now, it's 37 minutes long, so this video might be two parts due to the fact that I don't want to overly stimulate you guys with like an hour video of reaction because I'm going to be stopping and pausing, okay? So with that being said, let's get into it. Before I get into it, the video is called The Epstein Files Are Getting Worse. All right, like I said, we already talked about it the other day. Personally, I don't think that anything is going to come from it. I think that we're just going to have a large outrage reaction. But the information within these files is absolutely diabolical. I'm not going to lie. All right, and while we watch this, I have something that I've been very addicted to off and on for the last couple months. I have a Monster, very cold. This is a bad apple Monster. So we're gonna sip on that. We're gonna watch this, give some commentary, and let's just get into it, man. Because the Epstein files, this is nuts. I'm not gonna lie, man. This is nuts. This ain't it. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
It only gets worse from here. We're going back into the 3 million documents. So far, we mostly covered how billionaires lied about their relationship with Epstein and or got blackmailed in the drafts, eventually killing their marriage. We talked about Howard Lutnick, how he lied about meeting Epstein, although he still denies this. And we also talked about some horrible accusations against...
Can we just look at how beautifully he has it laid out, all the information? And you know they're about to get nailed to the wall when everything is all on a spreadsheet. You know what I'm saying? Highlighted yellow. I would hate to be under the microscope of CoffeeZilla. That's all I'm saying.
Trump and Bill Clinton, although we were clear that they are unverified. Now, some people have responded to the release, like Elon Musk, saying that no one fought harder for the full release of the Epstein files than I did. Ironically, he claims that he knew that the playbook of the far left...
I heard that Elon Musk is a straight lame nigga. I heard that he was trying to get to the island and Epstein and friends told his ass no. They're like, don't come. You can't come, bro. No, bro, you're not allowed. Do you know how lame you have to be to not be accepted and invited to a PDF party? Like, do you know how lame of a person you have to be to not be able to be in on that with a bunch of other billionaires? Like, imagine, you understand the scope of lamery? You you have to be beyond the scope of if PDF files don't want you around, there's something definitely wrong with your ass. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's something wrong with them in general. But I'm just saying, there's levels to it. That's the hierarchy of you need to not live anymore. And then for some odd reason, the people that are doing these heinous things don't want your ass around because you're a dweeb. That's crazy. And you already know how them emails went. Yo, bro, come on, man. Let me come through, bro. They were hitting his ass with, no, bro. No, you can't come. You know it's bad when they start saying that from the chest area. No, bro. Damn. You're not allowed, bro. Damn. Oh, bro. Elon ass was probably asking around, talking about some, yo, bro, you got invited to the party? And they're like, yeah, bro, are you invited? No, bro, they told me not to. They said the party was off. Damn, bro, that's crazy, gang. Damn, I guess the party is off. They shilling his ass in the corner because they don't want his weird ass around. That's crazy. Group of PDF files don't want your lame ass around because you're lame. And you're a billionaire. Anyways. I just thought that was insane. Sorry for the rambling.
Propagandists and legacy media is admit nothing, deny everything, and making counter accusations, saying he had never set foot on Epstein's creepy island or attended parties, despite the fact we saw last time that Elon was asking to be invited to the party. What day and night would be the wildest party on your island? Nevertheless, I think it's an interesting point.
I hate how there's been a bunch of people lying about this. I would never go on his island. Apparently, Epstein's neighbor was like, I would never go onto his island. I went to his house and he made a creepy gesture and I was like, nah, you know, that's too weird. They pull up the goddamn screenshot. Hey man, when can I come to the island? If you don't get your freaky
playbook, as we get into this much darker side of the 3.5 million files, you're going to notice this trend is true, that everyone we're going to talk about, basically they admit nothing, they deny everything,
Facts.
and then they usually make counter accusations against other people in the files. Almost no one has faced any kind of consequences for this whole thing, leading me to wonder, why is it that it seems like really only in the rest of the world has anyone faced anything? I mean, you've got the former Prince Andrew losing his title. You've got the Slovakia National Security Advisor resigning over the Epstein links.
Crazy.
But in America, I'm really hard-pressed to think of anyone who has actually faced any kind of accountability. I think Larry Summers stepped back voluntarily. But other than that, it's hard to think of anyone who's faced any kind of justice. In fact, arguably, Ghislaine Maxwell's life is better than it was previously since these Epstein files have dropped. And what's crazy about this is that we know that the government story is false. Remember, the FBI documents showed they had 10 co-conspirators they were investigating. We also got an old draft of an indictment where they had several co-defendants with Epstein. Now, of course, we know these were never ultimately charged. This was back in 2005, but just imagine all the way back in 2005 where these charges are from. We already
17 John Does? God damn.
He had evidence that Epstein was not working alone, and like, of course he's not. But now we're gonna talk a little bit about how the scheme operated. Now, to be clear, we're gonna talk in a second about the laundering of Epstein's reputation, the people who protected him this whole time. But right now, I wanna talk about how Epstein got some of these girls in the first place, because the Epstein files provide an interesting look behind the curtains. Obviously, we know Ghislaine Maxwell was helping, whether it be procure the girls, talk them into stuff. But now we have emails of a different side of the scheme. It says, yesterday I spoke to Daniel Syed, who Jean-Luc Brunel describes as a scout or recruiter of girls or women for Jeffrey Epstein. Attached to this incoming email from Brunel is the contact information he has for Syed. And then they blacked out his number and email. But digging into Jeffrey's email...
Is that a BlackBerry? What the hell was that?
He has for Syed. And then they...
Oh yeah, these niggas are devious. Oh yeah, these niggas are yeah, listen, man. You catching you on freak time with a BlackBerry gang? What is wrong with you? Freak ain't no way, bro. Man, look, man. Freaky nights, freaky flights on the BlackBerry.
He blacked out his number
Hell
and email. But digging into Jeffrey's emails with Daniel shows that he was constantly sending him links to girls. It shows Jeffrey Epstein paying Daniel 3,000 euros, which, to be clear, was the amount that was agreed to by Jean-Luc Brunel. Quote, Dominique, we will pay him 3,000 euros each month for scouting for a 6-month period. On all models we will get him, we will pay him 5% commission on their earnings. Imagine it's like baseball or it's like basketball. You're scouting for, I hate to use the word talent, but that's really what this guy was doing. He was going around the globe trying to find people for Jeffrey Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel. According to one lawsuit, Epstein trafficked a Jane Doe to Jean-Luc Brunel many times. It describes their operation as this. Many of the girls came from poor countries or impoverished backgrounds. He lured them in with a promise of making good money. Quote, Brunel has been a model scout for various modeling agencies for many years, and he was apparently able to get U.S. passports for young girls to work as models, eventually, of course, being sent to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, it should be noted that Jean-Luc Brunel himself died in prison by hanging, and that's while he was being accused of horrible crimes related to trafficking and minors. So this guy...
Yeah, it's real interesting. Everybody dies from just hanging in prison, you know? They finally get outed for their crimes, and all of a sudden they're hanging. No, nigga, they're getting Big Buff Johnson, all right? The strongest celly of mankind, paying him maybe a smooth 2 weeks of commissary, and you know they're sending them in there. That voice crack was crazy, but they're sending them in there. Buddy's going Congo Mongo Hulk mode on whoever that the hit was called on. You get what I'm saying? There's no hanging in this. It's strangulation. All right, they're getting the biggest man in the jail. Yeah, man, his ass was doing some crazy stuff. We're about to get exposed. Yeah, go crunch his ass. Go crunch him real quick. Pack him up. Fold him like a cheap lawn chair. Get his ass going. I'll give you 3 weeks of good commissary. Hold on. I'm looking at this screenshot right now. Man is biting Ghislaine Maxwell's head like it's like a Kit Kat bar. What the fuck am I looking at? What's wrong with these niggas? I'm sorry. I had to say that.
Is not a good guy. He was part of the op along with Daniel Syed, who was also scouting on behalf of Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel. They had their agreement. Here's a sample of how this would work. Jeffrey Epstein asked him to take a full body shot of someone. Daniel Syed says, now she is really skinny, I will do Polaroid. Jeffrey Epstein asks for a copy of her passport and then asks, how many tickets do you want for Woody, meaning Woody Allen? He says 2. Okay, thank you. Full body if possible. And then Jeffrey Epstein says, doesn't look too happy. Comments on her body, and then he says she is very sweet. I'll skip a few of the sordid details here. They comment about her body extensively, and then Jeffrey Epstein says, I sent a request that she want to come out to Paris on Sunday. He says, I will invite to come. And this is basically how it worked. Daniel Syed flew around the world looking for women, sending photos to Jeffrey Epstein, who then would get copy of their passports and bring him to the States. Here's an example of this. Daniel Syed brings him a girl. They didn't redact this name, but I'm going to do it. He says, very nice, easygoing, dream to work in United States or visit the United States working as a model in Dubai. He asks age. Daniel says 22 or 23. I forgot to ask her. She looks younger. I have her number if you want to call her. She was going to send this evening. And this happens over and over. At one point, he talks about a Thai actress. Jeffrey Epstein says he can see her on Wednesday, and then he complains that she wants to meet in a restaurant. I don't do that in New York, and then says she didn't even respond. Not nice. The point is, a lot of these girls were looking to come to the United States for one reason or another, for some kind of dream. They would ask for passports or visas, and then ultimately get sent here by this network of people who would later be accused of trafficking or other abuses. Now, to be clear, there have not been charges against Daniel Syed, and the government, remember, says they have no evidence to go even predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. So it's a little bit bizarre to be reading about this scouting operation for Jeffrey Epstein.
And that's the thing that blows my mind, right? They said they don't have information or enough information to get his ass. My nigga, are you reading the emails? Go track don't you have logs of where people go? Like let's put 2 and 2 together real quick. Is this not making any sense to me? Isn't it making any sense to you? This is not making shit to listen, man. This is not making any remote sense to me of why he can't get got. Okay? Pack him up. Get his ass too. Get everybody. This whole list right here, this whole thing, get everybody.
Way
what are we
he
doing?
recruited
what are
girls.
we talking about?
And then be told, yeah, nothing to see here. Yeah, one of the scouts was like this, who himself in jail. But no, there's no one else here, even though there's definitely guys floating around. Even though we literally have redacted defendants in our old draft of an indictment. We have nothing to do. We can't possibly imagine doing anything. And that brings me to one of the frustrating parts of these whole files is the redactions. I mean, I know I've been over this, but it's a different thing. In the past, the files were sort of overly redacted to protect people. The problem this time is not only are a lot of people still being protected, like literally the names of the people they were going to charge, you couldn't argue those are victims, but the work was just done so sloppy that oftentimes you'll find that the DOJ has uploaded 2 documents that are functionally identical, and they redacted one but not the other, letting you see what's ultimately behind the mask, which is dumb because sometimes the thing they're redacting is Jeffrey Epstein's name. Or other times it's somebody who clearly is not a victim because then you see the non-redacted copy and you're like, yeah, that's clearly not a victim. So it's a little strange what they seem to have done here. Let me give you a for instance. So we have this message from somebody whose name is blacked out, and we see participants, and then we see Jeffrey Epstein is involved, right? And it says, we need to work around your 38. We need to push back on the lies, then crush the pedo trafficking narrative, then rebuild your image as a philanthropist. Now, I want to know who's doing that. Who's trying to rebuild Jeffrey Epstein's image, right?
Freaky.
Well, we go ahead, we scroll down, and we see that Jeffrey Epstein sends something. He says, in any bar where drinking age is 18, and you see the participant is once again blacked out. But underneath it, in a separate file, we see Steve Bannon, a famous political figure, is in here, and he's saying the same thing. He says, first, we need to push back on the lies, then crush the trafficking narrative, then rebuild your image as a philanthropist.
Didn't Steve Bannon just have an interview released of Jeffrey Epstein? What the hell is going on? What the hell of it? What's going on? The rabbit hole gets so deep to the point it like hurts my brain, because literally every single person involved within this network of PDFs, they're all linked to each other in high powered places, and they're all doing the same thing. It's masking an image. And it's so strange to me how they'll sit side by side to each other, right? For example, the Steve Bannon interview. And they won't talk about it, question it, or the freaky nature of how they know each other, what's going on. It's very all hush hush code softball interviews. It's very strange. It's very strange, man.
Guys, why did you censor out his name? Or like why was that censored at all? I don't understand. And I certainly don't understand why Jeffrey Epstein's name in this one is censored. So Jeffrey's not censored in this one, but Bannon is, and then Bannon's not censored in this one, and Epstein is. And sometimes this creates the bizarre impression that they are censoring for victim names or for some like kind of victim status or for some reason. And then you see the other file and you're like, why did you do this? It's just very poorly done throughout. That's just something I wanted to comment on, is not only did they once again not fully redact things because they were sloppy, but also like victims' names got stuck in this. Like girls' names appear sometimes, and like I'm not sure, are they supposed to be redacted? Because they're redacted over here, they're not over here. I can kind of figure out who it is. It's just kind of a mess. I needed to point that out. You know, other times we have things like this, like Brock Pierce, a co-founder of Tether, also known as the biggest stable coin in the world. He sent a message to Jeffrey Epstein with the subject line Anastasia, and then it's just a bunch of redacted stuff with a few untitled JPEGs in here. And so, you know, you're thinking to yourself, what is this? Is he sending some illicit media? Like, what is this? Well, then we have this page where it wasn't redacted. I put that little dark square that I didn't know if this should have been redacted or not. But it's like a bunch of JPEGs. Now, does that contain victims? Is Brock Pierce sending photos of victims? I don't know, because of the way the government did this. But underneath, it says the Ukraine is now my favorite country, smiley face, Brock Pierce.
I would assume. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's very easy to assume. Like, I don't know. I get it from a journalistic standpoint, but from my standpoint, if I see a bunch of JPEGs and it has the subject of Anastasia, it's probably, you know, pictures of a victim.
Subject line Anastasia.
That's just how
I don't know what to make of that. I'm just saying the redactions, like the way they did this, is not good. But now let's return to Steve Bannon and his "we're gonna crush the trafficking" narrative, because this guy, oh boy, has been revealed in the files to being like Jeffrey's right-hand PR man. Ooh. I mean, this guy was filming.
See? What did I just say, man? What did I just say? Man. Bro, it's a swarm of them, bro. They're like locusts. You know what I'm saying? They cover for the cover. It's like they're trying to not reveal the Fight Club, gang, and everybody at this point knows the Fight Club, and they're still trying to lie about saying that they don't know what the Fight Club is, because the first rule about fighting the Fight Club is you don't talk about the Fight Club. You know what I'm saying? We all know now. We all know. There's no point of lying. So go ahead and resign from your jobs. Go to your hidey hole where you need to belong. Because once them niggas start coming to get people and packing them up, your ass is gonna be one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's stop, bro.
Basically, a documentary about Jeffrey Epstein in order to rehabilitate his image. And some of it has actually leaked to the public. It's been interesting to watch how that's been received. But the funny thing is that originally Jeffrey Epstein's plan was to just do a YouTube video, like an apology, like a old school 2016, turn on the camera for authenticity and sing, you know, he said,
oh, hell no. Hell no. They got the ukulele too. Guys, I bought an island, and I was trafficking people. But I'm sorry. You know, what do you? How does that even? This is terrible. There's no amount of a YouTube apology that this would ever be cleared up ever. You know what I'm saying? This would simply just not work. And you already know the standard issue. Turn on the camera. Guys, I was in a really dark place in my life, and I just had to traffic people from all around the world and abuse them. Guys, I hope that you guys can take my apology very seriously. I'm taking this very seriously, and to the fact that I'm taking this all seriously, to the immense diabolical things that I've done to people around the world. I'm going to also donate to my local food pantry, because I feel the need that in order to fully make sure you guys register my apology, I take some form of affirmative action for this, for my heinous crimes. So I will be donating $500 to my pantry. It doesn't matter, my local food pantry. It doesn't matter that I'm a billionaire. I'm going to donate $500, and that's going to be the start. And I'm going to go to therapy for 48 hours. And I'm not going to sell my island or anything. Are you out of your mind? We have the craziest parties on the island, and we keep Elon Musk rocket building ass up the island because his ass is lame. But anyways, I'll be going to therapy for 12 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours. I will be thinking about a therapist online, and I will proceed with my life. I hope you guys accept my apology. Thanks. Bye. You're not invited to the party.
Do you think I can do my own video interview and upload it to YouTube? No sandbagging, interview format, or like a diary piece. Steve Bannon says, if you do an interview, it can't be like Johnny does a YouTube. It has to be amazingly professional and perfectly cut. Then Jeffrey Epstein responds, Woody, we assume Woody Allen, because they were close, said he would help edit. Not sure how to stage, what points to make, but better than trying to do an interview that I have no experience doing. Goal is to humanize the monster. Anything written carries little weight, to which Steve Bannon replies, yes, Jeffrey Epstein, should it be an interview format, interviewed by me? They start talking about, like, how do we do this? Humor, apology, how did I get rich? Question mark, topics. They're brainstorming. How do we trick the public into seeing me as more than a monster? Now, funny enough, right before this, Jeffrey Epstein asks about a dinner with Woody, and then he says, or too many pedos in one place. And you gotta love the self-awareness there. Now, I don't know what he meant by that. To be clear, I'm not making that accusation against Woody Allen. We'll talk about him in a second. That's Jeffrey Epstein saying that. I think what's interesting to point out, though, is how all these rich and powerful people are circling the wagons to try to protect Jeffrey Epstein's reputation, right? This is a guy who at this point has been known for years to have pled guilty to these 2008 charges. This was an open secret. And so Steve Bannon goes along, though, anyways, and he films this documentary. Now, what's interesting is he starts talking about the documentary, and he starts saying, I'm watching our second hour now. Guys were blown away. I didn't think it was as strong at the time, but I was wrong. Need huge part about threat of AI versus reality, threat of climate change. And this is where the notes start going back and forth of how can we get you to think of other things? So part of the conceit of this big interview of Jeffrey Epstein was to try to humanize him and actually present him as this genius, everyman, quirky guy with a few flaws, right? They knew they couldn't run away from the crimes. To quote, in Bannon's words, yes, 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 of course, but we must counter rapists who traffics in female children to be raped by world's most powerful, richest men. That can't be redeemed. Can't redeem the unredeemable. You are a lot of things which we will show, but you are not that. Bannon is aware that, like,
he is that and more. It's crazy how, they're like, you know what, guys, we're gonna pull a fast one on him. You guys ready? Listen, we're gonna talk about how he gets rich. We're gonna do the YouTube apology. We're gonna keep that shit probably at the end. All right, keep it to a one minimum 60-second max. All right, the rest we're gonna make this guy look like a genius. We're gonna try to humanize it. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, dude. You did what with who? With children? Huh? You did what with who? Yeah. Go ahead and turn off the interview. Pack the cameras up too. Go ahead and go ahead and go ahead and get him out, cause Buddy thought he could pull a fast one. He thought this shit was Scooby-Doo. No, all right. It's freaky men in the gang over there, all right? And freaky men in the gang over there, they get locked in the chain gang. You know what I'm saying? That's prison, jail, right? And they get tossed like a pan pizza by Bubba in their cell, okay? When they drop the soap. That's what happens to freaky men in the gang. Freaky men in the gang should not be humans. They're not humans. These are not people anymore. You know what I'm saying? That these are freaky men. So put them in that category. Anyways, if you guys want to watch the original video, link in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. Part 2 will be out tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think so far. If you guys want more reaction videos, let me know. Like I said before, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow the Twitch, and I will see you tomorrow.